Alright, shalom, shalom. To start off real quick, giving all praises, honors, and glories unto Yahbashim Yashabashim Kakadash, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of great millstone that told me his truth, that rule well, shalom to the elect. Scattered through the four corners of the earth, my name is Kadash Paya, real quick. Going back to my last video I had made over here, right? Where it says, our Lord sprang out of the tribe of Judah. Now, what I didn't know was the fact, within the late 1500s, the fact that, I showed this episode of Friends.
So why does everybody keep saying Jesus was white?
Right? Really wasn't an actual episode that had happened or aired. Even though the information that everything that was brought out was correct, I seen it. I didn't really watch Friends that like I came across every now and then. I grew up around that time, but to know every episode I wasn't familiar, so that kind of threw me off as far as knowing if that's AI. And that's another thing, like, you don't want to seem like you're using false information to validate the truth, and that's not what it is. You know what I mean? Because that could show that you're creating something that's not truth, that's there for people to believe it. And no, the truth shall stand, but if you present it in a way where it's like people figure out that it's not true, AI, or it may throw them off. It may seem like you're reaching, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it just shows that even with this whole AI, right? It's a way where Esau, cause you could use imagery and sound effects to create a false narrative that never happened, for fear tactics, or for whatever. Breaking news. It might not be. It just had people in a frenzy. Not knowing what's real or what's fake, and that could cause confusion. You know what I mean? So, hey, brothers out there, be circumspect. I myself, on certain information that's brought out. Always double check it. You know what I mean? Especially now in these times, right? With all this fake news or fake narratives and, fake images and sounds, and it's all to disrupt what is the truth. Nevertheless, the information that was brought out was accurate, but still, the point is about not showing any deceptiveness. You know what I mean? Because we do know the scriptures speak about how, I believe it was Paul, where he said, no, was it Paul? Where he stated, let me get that real quick. Yeah, no, that was in Daniel. Pardon me. The book of Daniel 12:4 says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." So, knowledge is being increased, but it also, in the time where deceptiveness is increasing as well. False knowledge, false information, false narratives. Just like how you got something called Project Bluebeam, false imagery, and you think it's real. You recorded it. You thought it was in front of your face. It wasn't. It was an illusion. So it just shows to be more diligent and circumspect, right? Because there was, the show I was watching called, I believe it's The Bunker, where they was lying to people about what was happening in the outside, and he got all of them within the bunker, thinking that shit, just to keep them in the loop, in a line, like a social experiment. Good show. I believe it was on Netflix. You know what I mean? But even though knowledge shall increase, you got knowledge coming from everywhere. And then the scriptures also say, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, which is the truth. So, in the land of confusion that we're in, Babel, is designed to throw people off from knowing what the truth is and what is real, what is lies. You got a lot of people that say nowadays for anything, little thing, oh, that's AI, that's AI, that's AI, that's not real, that's not real. So it's almost like when Yahweh Shah come back, everybody's gonna know it's real. When World War III hits, when our Tatation, everybody's gonna know it's real. You know what I mean? So be vigilant, be circumspect, because the devil as a roaring lion seeketh whom he may devour. With this crafty ass, technology, it deceives people that, aren't fully, thoroughly examining and being aware of what is and what is not. So Salaki on that part. I didn't know that clip was, AI. Though the information was brought out, it still could be used in different aspects and perspectives. So always make sure, like, you do your research, knowing, seek out to see if those things are true. You know what I mean? But anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.